An Ohio grand jury today declined to indict two white Cleveland police officers, Timothy Lohman and Frank Garmbach, in the shooting death of 12-year-old Tamir Rice. Rice was shot in November of last year after being spotted waving a gun in a park. It turned out to be a toy. The prosecutor called the incident an absolute tragedy, but not a crime. DeMarco Morgan is in Cleveland.
Simply put, given this perfect storm of human error, mistakes and miscommunications by all involved that day, the evidence did not indicate criminal conduct by police.
Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Tim McGinty said this enhanced video shows 12-year-old Tamir Rice was pulling a pellet gun out of his waistband just before he was shot.
Either intended to hand it over to the officers or show them it wasn't a real gun. But there was no way for the officers to know that because they saw the events rapidly unfolding in front of them from a very different perspective.
Prosecutors say the police radio dispatcher was also to blame for not telling the officers that the gun may have been fake and that the suspect may have been underage. That information came in on a 911 call.
He's sitting on a swing right now, but he keeps pulling it in out of his pants and pointing it at people. It's probably a juvenile, you know. It's probably fake, but you know what? He's scared the off.
But the radio dispatcher told the officers this.
He said in the park by the youth center, there's a black male sitting on the swings. So he keeps pulling a gun out of his pants and pointing it at people.
Officer Lohman shot Rice within 2 seconds of pulling up to the scene with his training officer, Frank Garmbach. Matt Meyer, the county's public corruption unit chief, said officers are trained to shoot quickly when they believe a suspect may open fire.
It is clear that had these officers known this was possibly a child and the gun was possibly a toy, they would not have considered this incident to have been so serious and almost certainly would have used different tactics.
Walter Madison represents the Rice family.
There was an expectation that this would be the outcome of the grand jury process, but there's nothing like knowing it's real now, and they have to live with that.
Now, Jeff, the family of Tamir Rice complained that the officers were allowed to give statements to the grand jury and were not asked questions, something they say would never happen if a civilian were accused. The officers remain under restricted duty.
DeMarco Morgan in Cleveland tonight.